Hello, guys, and welcome to the KingKast Podcast. I am your host, King, aka Brian, here, and we're trying something new. For those of you who did not know, and that's going to be most of you, if not all of you, before I had a YouTube channel, I actually had a podcast, and we have 6 episodes. They're still up. Go check them out. Link in the description. They're really bad, but you know what? It exists.
They are not bad. They were just poorly planned last-minute videos or podcasts that talked about how we just like the things that we liked, and there's no shame in that. So don't be ashamed.
Episode 1 was pretty bad. Just saying.
Oh yeah, that was okay. That one, I'll admit, was pretty bad because that was like our first attempt of doing something like that.
Yeah.
And it was it was just, I don't know. Like, if you guys want to check it out, go check it out. But oh my god, I wouldn't recommend it if I were you.
Yeah, but anyways, that brings me to my guest. Actually, if you guys saw the update video that I had, I said this first episode I was going to do it by myself, but you know what? I feel like it was fitting to have this guest as my guest on the first episode, just because he was part of the original podcast. So without further ado, let's welcome here the Bomber_XP, aka Royale, my boy, my friend, and your worst enemy according to my channel.
Hey, it depends on who.
Yeah, it depends on who. Eladriel.
You're like the only person that doesn't like me because of how much I bash on Pokemon, but that's besides the point. So,
yeah.
What are we going to be discussing today on the first ever remake or remastered series of the podcast?
So there's actually been a couple things that I've been wanting to ask you, and I've never asked you in like 8 years that I've known you now. Wow, 8 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's been about 8 years.
8 years, yeah. Yo, we were little kids back in the day. Little whippersnappers.
You were 13 and I was 11. I think that's when we first met.
No, I was 12.
You were 12? Then I must have been 10
Yeah.
or 11.
No, you were like 11 for sure.
Yeah, because we're like about a year apart. You're 20,
Give or
aren't you?
take. I'm 19 currently. Age reveal, guys. 19.
Age review. Alright.
Birthday's next month. My birthday's next month, so
Alright, give him some love, guys. Give him some
we're
love.
getting there.
So, what are the first couple of questions?
Yeah, there's this.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
There's one thing I've been meaning to ask you for like a year or so, and I haven't. Why the Bomber_XP? Like, I've seen this like associated with you, but I've never asked you why.
So the reason why I chose the Bomber XP was because it was the first video game I've ever played. And so I just stuck with it. I really like the concept of what's it called, Bomber, because it's very strategic. I'm not saying that that's how my gameplay is, because most of the games I play don't require that much strategy, except like fighting Smash. I use a lot of what's it called, strategy in that, edge guarding, 101, stuff like that. CS:GO, it's really cut and dry. It's like you just go plant a bomb or shoot the people who have the bomb. And there's no real strategy with that one. I could except the only game I know that I need to use my skills and strategy is Rainbow Six Siege. That's for sure, because it's really hard to master the game because of how fast it is. But yeah, the reason why I chose it was because it reminded me a lot about how much strategic games could be and how much I really like the game. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember as a kid when I used to live in Mexico, and my brother, who we'll have on the podcast eventually, I'm sure about that. Me and him, we used to go to this corner store, and they used to have a maquinita, which was an arcade machine that you'd go, and there'd be lines of young kids wanting to play, because in Mexico we didn't really have much outside of like a soccer ball and a soccer field, and we didn't have video games, so everyone had to share a machine. And one of the most popular games that we had was Bomberman, and there was actually a multiplayer mode or in a co-op mode in the game that we would play. And Bomberman is so fun, strategic. And actually, I believe there's a Switch game which I've been meaning to try.
Yeah, it's
and
like
maybe play on the channel.
Oh.
And maybe play on the channel eventually. Might have you here. I feel like it's only fitting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's definitely a game that I associate with my childhood. And what other games, from your childhood, you'd say would associate you associate with? You know, growing up, what were some of your other favorite games?
My favorite game probably of all time is a Game Boy game called Aragon. It's an RPG, and that's how I fell in love with RPGs. Was that game actually? I read the whole book series up to date. Um, in another game, well, like Mario games, the most generic. Yeah, like I just really like the concept of RPGs,
Hmm.
and yeah, that's one of my few games that I actually remember of that era was when I was in my childhood was just playing that game and Final Fantasy Tactics. Yeah, on the I think it was the NES. Yeah, and Contra. Those are like the few notable games that I played was because those are the only games I had. They were hand me
Yeah.
downs, and yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I remember me as a kid. I've to this day, for the most part, I've always been like a Nintendo kid. Because my parents didn't let me play violent games. Plus, we had a super big family, so it's not like they could afford to buy multiple consoles for each kid, right?
Hmm.
Uh, but as a kid, I mean, my first game ever to this day that I can remember was probably Pokemon Yellow. And so Pokemon has always been a game that's always stuck with me since I was a kid. And, you guys could see it now. I have a channel that I play Pokemon stuff with. And I do want to branch out eventually, and I have started branching out on streams. And actually, the next video series, solo series that I'm planning to do is going to be a Mario game. I don't know which Mario game it is yet. I might honestly play the original Mario Bros. If I could figure out an emulator and all that.
Like
Just because,
the N
it's the original Super Mario Bros.
the NES.
And the NES. Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, so it's definitely something I want to play. Uh, maybe even speedrun. Who knows? Because I've had a lot
Speedrun?
of friends.
You want to beat the game in under 4 minutes?
Oh, it's gonna be a lot of practice. But like
Yeah.
I have a friend. He's actually streaming at the time of recording. He's streaming. He's coaching one of my other friends. Shout out to Campfire Chris. He's teaching Erico right now. Teaching him how to improve in Super Mario 64. And seeing people who I talk to regularly wanting to speed run makes me like, all right, I kind of have this itch now to kind of speed run, but I'm like, what game do I want? I want to have I don't want to play the same game that everyone else does though, So I feel like that original Mario game, I don't find it too difficult, I might actually do it. But speed running in games is definitely something I do want to eventually try out, just because it seems like a lot of fun. But yeah, you do need a lot of practice to do that type of stuff. But yeah, so growing up, bunch of Nintendo games, Mario games for sure. Mario Party was definitely one of my favorite games growing up. Just because you could play with a bunch of, like I said, we had a big family, so you could play with everyone.
Yeah, yeah. That's like the best thing about home consoles is the fact that you could play with everyone in your family.
Yeah, and especially if you have like a big Mexican family like me, whenever we had like gatherings, you'd have to pass around the controller and you're super excited for your turn. But when you're a little kid, you don't realize you have the controller unplugged.
I never had that because my sister didn't like video games when she was younger, and my little brother wasn't born yet, so it was just me playing video games. And
Yeah.
but I
And
understand.
yeah, and another one of the games that I remember playing a lot, and I still play to this day, just a newer version, Super Smash Bros.
You played Melee?
I've played all of the Super Smash Bros. Games in their original consoles. So I played Melee, Brawl, the 64, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure it's the 64 that it came out in. Uh, the Wii U. I've played it on the 3DS, and now the Switch. So that's always been a game that I've fallen in love with, and especially now with the DLC, the capability of adding new stages, new characters. Something that excites me, especially in any type of game where it adds replayability.
That's true.
Yeah, because there's games now that solely rely on DLC to bring new people. And actually, I have a couple of questions here that I asked some people, and if you guys want to send your own questions, You could send your questions at KingKast Gaming at Twitter. And in the future, once we get to 100 subscribers, I will be releasing a Discord server. And in said Discord server, I will have a page dedicated to just questions for podcasts. I will announce in the server who's going to be my next guest and questions you guys have for me and that person, so we could, encourage more discussions. And like I said, we're going to have a page for questions for the podcast. So once we get to that goal, you guys are more than welcome to ask your questions, because I want this to be something that I enjoy and my guest enjoys being a part of. Also, you guys enjoy listening and being involved in the project too. So here's a question from, actually, speaking of him, my good friend Campfire Chris says, do you think the old school gamer of platforms and such are going away with huge influx of battle royale style games? So what do you think?
Yeah, honestly, I think so. That now I don't know how battle royales became so popular, but I think that's gonna be not the future, but it's gonna be a big genre for everyone to actually be a part of. Because there's Fall Guys, very popular battle royale.
Yep.
Warzone,
Mm-hmm.
very popular battle royale. Fortnite is
Yep.
starting to die off a little bit, but it's still pretty popular. And there's other
Mm-hmm.
games that are gonna be coming out soon that are battle royale like. Let me see if I could think of some. What are some battle royale games?
I mean, just today they announced going back to the Mario thing, the 35th anniversary of Mario, they're gonna release a battle royale style game of Super Mario Bros.
Hmm.
Even Nintendo's capitalizing on these type of things.
I know what you're talking about. Is it like where everyone plays the same level in the same time?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember they did that a while back, but I don't know what happened to that.
yeah. And Tetris 99, if you get a Switch Online, you get like a demo version of that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there are multiple games now that are becoming super popular because of the battle royale genre, and I definitely see the interest of that, because you're playing against real people in real time, trying to see who could outlast the other. And it's not like when you're playing like RPGs or what are those side scroller games where you're basically competing against the AI or computers. This time you're actually playing against other people who, they could compete to be quote unquote the best in the world in this game. And the only way to become like the best in the world is, like mentioning earlier, speedrunning for like side scrollers or other stuff like that.
Yeah, that's how you get recognized too. Is just doing stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. But another big genre on video games, and this episode we've been focusing a lot on games, surprisingly, has been fighting games.
I don't know about that.
And I don't see that genre going away anytime soon, though.
Yeah, that's for sure. I agree with that, but I don't think they're the most popular right now. I don't
No, for sure they're not the most popular, but I mean they're up there. I mean, because of what's
What's up?
No, go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
well, I don't know, like Injustice 2, that game is starting to die out. MK11, no one's really doing tournaments of that anymore. Smash is like online, and I don't know, those are really just the biggest fighting games. I don't know about Tekken. I think Tekken died as well.
Mm-hmm. Dragon Ball Z Fighters too is also. I haven't kept up much with the scene, but I mean it's also a very popular game still. But yeah, I mean I don't see that genre leaving anytime soon. I feel like those types of games are just super fun, super competitive too. Street Fighters, stuff like that. Super competitive stuff. All right, let's move on here to the next question. Once my questions start loading. There you go. Totally prepared, guys. All right, this is a question. Let's get off the topic of games for a little bit. Oh, my friend Loana here says, what are some challenges you think the next generation will face?
That's a good one. Definitely, what's it called? Social media.
Yeah.
Definitely, you got to be wary of what you say and what you do online, because it's gonna be recorded. It's just you can't what's it called? Get away from that as much as you want to. I guess that's something you got to be worried about. Yeah, just and then everyone makes memes of everything. So it's like, even if you didn't want to, be a part of it, it's gonna happen to you. It's like you can't really escape it. But that's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just social media in general is just something that they have to be careful of.
Mm-hmm. Like I feel like, especially like still now, and I feel like it's going to be more in the future, where social media has definitely put on a sort of pressure on people to be someone who they're not, because the amount of likes a picture gets or comments a picture gets, the more people are talking about you, kind of like makes you feel better about yourself. But when there's a post that you post that people aren't engaging as much as your other ones, it kind of like puts you down. I'm just talking generally. I know this doesn't apply to everyone. It's just a generalization. But I feel like that's going to be something that future generations going to struggle with a lot. Is, they're going to struggle with their identity. They're not going to know. I see this like, okay, these people want me to be this person, but I want to be like this. So who do I be,
Yeah.
But one other thing I feel like the future generation is going to struggle a lot with. I don't know if this happened with you when you were younger, and I've seen a bunch of memes about it too. How there was this meme back in like 2000s where your mom or your parents are trying to get you back inside the house, and then you scroll to like 2018 or something like that, and your parents are trying to take you out of the house.
Oh,
type of thing.
Memes. Boomer memes. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could call them boomer memes, where the future generations are probably just going to be stuck to a screen.
Yeah. I guess so. There's no appreciation for like the outdoors and stuff. Not as much as it was before.
Yeah, people's social skills have definitely gone down. I'll tell you that much. So for those of you who don't know, and most of you guys don't, but I've mentioned this in a couple of streams and stuff like that. I work at a grocery store, and the younger people are like sometimes the hardest people to deal with, because they don't know how to like
socialize,
communicate. Yeah. So they're like super awkward, super shy. Sometimes their heads are always like down, like trying to avoid eye contact, and it's not their fault. Most of the time they're just never put in that situation where because sometimes I've seen a lot of people they have to rely on their parents to like go shopping and stuff like that. Like I could tell you, until I was like 17 or 18, I didn't even know what size of pants I used to wear.
Dang.
Yeah, because my brother Christian would always come with me, and he'd be like, yeah, you're this size, and I was like, okay, well, in that case, there's no need for me to really know what it is, right? And I feel like a lot of people go through that too. Like my little sister, she's 10 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully I'm not. Whenever we're at a restaurant or gonna go order food, she always knows what she wants to order, but she never wants to order it herself. So she's always waiting for one of us. She's always looking at us or like my parents to order for her, and we're always just like, come on, just speak up, Like there's no, they're not gonna bite you or anything like that.
Yeah, they're just worried about what other people think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even to the skill like that, how their social skills are
not as good.
Not as good as ours, and I feel like that's just going to keep getting worse as the future generation settles in and we settle out, of society.
Society, deep.
Mm-hmm.
Deep.
Yeah. All right, here's a more random question by one of my good friends, Hannah, and you know Hannah.
Yeah, I do know Hannah. She's cool. Was she?
I'm pretty sure.
Asking.
I'm pretty sure this is her question. Please tell me this is.
Oh my god.
Yes, it is her question. Okay, cool. What is your favorite Jack in the Box meal?
Oh. I don't like eating fast food. Like spoiler alert. I just ever since I started working out, I was wary about what I was eating. It was more of just like a diet thing. But
yeah,
definitely like from Jack in the Box, a spicy chicken sandwich. So I know it's like
spicy chicken.
Yeah, the spicy chicken sandwich or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's probably what I'd get. And like a combo too with curly fries. It's always it's always a banger. Always smacks.
Dude, I love the tacos from Jack in the Box.
The tacos are pretty good.
Yeah, and they're cheap, so I can buy a lot.
I mean,
remember that one time? Remember that one time we went to
like
Imperial
20
Gaming?
Tacos? Yeah, you got like 22 tacos.
I bought $20 worth of tacos, and I was there waiting for like 10, 15 minutes for them to make the tacos, and I'd like every like 5 minutes I was just telling them I'm sorry.
Every 10 minutes.
Yeah, because I mean that
It
day
is
we
a
were
lot,
there.
man.
It was like 6 people, 7 people, maybe 8 people with us, and yeah, so I just went to go get tacos. And yeah, so tacos are definitely one of my favorite. But if I'm getting a burger, my go-to burger, I believe it's a number 8. It's the ultimate bacon cheeseburger. And I always go for regular fries. No shame on curly fries because I love the curly fries too. But I usually go regular fries, and then for my drink, I go for either a lemonade or a high C with no ice because soda. I like soda, but sometimes I feel like I drink too much of it, so I get like juices or something. All right. So here's one question from Jessica.
Mm.
So, what is the scariest situation you have ever been in? Either if it's like scary in a funny situation, like later on you realize it's it was funny to look at, but not at the moment, or something that was very serious.
I mean, most of the things that I want to discuss are not legal, so I'm not going to talk about those. But something that is, and it was pretty stupid of me, was recently I was working at. I talked about it in the chat too. I work at FedEx, right? I'm a package handler. And the thing about the job is you can't have your phone in the building, and they screen you to see if you have drugs on you, to see if you stole anything from the warehouse, stuff like that. So
Okay.
I wanted to bring my phone one day just to see, like, test them to see if like they actually like know how to do it. So I brought in my phone, but I didn't go through like the metal door or anything like that. What I did was there's this gate, and I just put my phone through the gate, and that way I could go around and pick it up after my screening. And so I walked in, I did my screening, and then I didn't have anything on me, obviously. So and then the guard was like, "All right, come with me." And I was like, "Oh my god, they caught it! Like how?" And then I saw the video camera. I was like, "Oh no, they're gonna like fire me or something like that." And then he was all like, "All right, so I'm gonna show you how to use this machine." And so he told me that I had to lay my ID card over the number pad so that way I could get screened by myself and they wouldn't do anything. I was like, "Oh, okay. That makes sense." And I just went through, picked up my phone, and went in. I was like, "Oh my god, I was supposed to. I'm never gonna do that again."
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's always that feel of like guilt. It's like, oh my gosh, they caught me.
it's not
Like
the
you're
guilt. It
trying
was
to be
just
so
like,
slick.
yeah, I guess I was trying to be slick, but good thing I didn't get caught.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How
All
about
right.
you?
So I think I talked about this in the podcast, the old podcast episodes, which you guys should check out. Just saying. Some of them are pretty decent. And so this was freshman year, and we were working on a project about the Odyssey, the book, the Odyssey, or I think that's what it's called, where it talks about Odysseus and
Yeah,
his
that's the
travels
Odyssey.
back to Rome, the Odyssey, right?
The
Cool.
Greek mythology.
Yeah, the Greek mythology. And so we had to do a project on every chapter of the book. We had to like draw an illustration that represented or symbolized something in that chapter. And if you know me, I suck at drawing. That's like something I'm not good at all. Like I touch a paper and it's ruined forever. That includes my signature. So if you guys in the future ever want my signature, which I don't know why you guys would, just know that my pen would destroy your paper instantly. So don't do that. Don't ask me for that. Just picture lasts longer. So I was working on this project, and I got about 3 chapters into the book where I gave up. And this is supposed to be like a big project, and I just stopped doing it. And so time to turn in the project, right? And I pretended to turn in my project. So it's supposed to be like a little book. That's what it was, supposed to be. On one side, it's supposed to be a drawing. On the other side, you're supposed to write down, what you learned from the chapter and, answer a question that the teacher assigned you. And I didn't turn in my book. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, there's that feeling. You're just like, well, I didn't do it. And my grade was a C at that time. So I was like, it would have gone down to a B.
A B or
But I was
D?
like, a D, sorry. But whatever, I was like, I just went with it, right? And so the day came where we had to, we teachers graded our assignments, and it was time for the teachers to return the project. And of course, mine wasn't there because I didn't turn mine in. But you know what I did?
What'd you
I
do?
was like, I was like, Miss, whatever your name is, I forget her name. I can't find mine. And they were
What
like,
you?
you're like, are you sure? And like the teacher's like, did anyone take blank's project? Right? Did anyone take? I don't want to say my legal name, even though I say it every episode. Brian. Did did anyone take Brian's project? And like, obviously the room was silent because they didn't. And then they were like, okay, we'll look for it at our house. Blah blah blah. And I was like, okay. Oh man, what if they don't find it? Worst case scenario, like best case scenario, I just have to redo the project again and turn it in, right? But worst case scenario, they figure out I'm lying, and not only do I get, uh, an F for not turning in the project, but I could also get written up to the office for lying because it's a big project.
Yeah.
And so days passed by, and I didn't hear anything. Then the teachers, pulled me aside after class. They were like, "So we weren't able to find your thing." And since they pulled me aside, I was like, I got scared. And I was like, "Oh no, what's gonna happen?" And they told me, so we couldn't find your project. So what we're going to do, we're just going to give you full credit. And I was like, yes!
Not in front of them, right?
No. But like inside, I was like, yes! Like it was like, we're going to give you full credit. We feel so sorry for losing your paper. Because I even when I was explaining to them that I did do it, I remember telling them, well, you could ask my parents. They saw me working on it. And they did see me working on one chapter. But they saw me working on it because I asked them for help how to draw something. And they were like, just pull out. Because at the time I didn't have a phone. I was like, just use your tablet and pull up a picture on Google and so you could try to draw it. And I was like, okay. But yeah, so that was definitely a scary experience. It was funny afterwards because I was like, I got away with it. Yeah, But imagine if I didn't get away with that.
Bruh.
That would have been pretty bad.
That would have been pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, easily could have been a parent-teacher conference. Me lying.
Integrity, yeah, I get you.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, yeah, I never did that in school. I never like cheated on anything. I don't know.
I never do that, kids.
Yeah, don't cheat. It's like, come on. Yeah, but I've never done anything scary at school where it's like academic related. I always try to do my work, and if I don't do it, I don't do it. And that's not like me to like just leave an assignment. I always try to do it the best way I can. The only time I didn't do an assignment was when what's it called? I didn't want to. I was just like, whatever. I'm just gonna let this slide, just like for the f of it. And yeah, I got. It wasn't that big of an assignment, but I still my grade dropped, not by a lot. I
Mm-hmm.
was at an A, but I dropped to a B, and I was like, okay, well, could have been worse. That was
Yeah.
my mentality. So.
Yeah, I was not the best student in school. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Mhm.
Like me and school don't really go together. But I used to go to school because obviously there's always that thing, especially from me and my family. I was the first one to go to college,
Mm.
so that was just a big thing. My motivation, right? I need to finish school. I need to go to college. Need to get a degree. Need to make a living on myself. Because my mom didn't go past middle school. If I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if he even finished middle school. And my dad finished high school, I believe, or like, started and didn't finish it. And so me going to college is a big thing for my family.
Mhm.
So that was my motivation to do good in school. But English was never my thing. I think 3 years out of the 4 years that I took English in school, I had to do credit recovery or some form of, get my credit back because I always failed first semester, but second semester somehow I always did great, which made no sense to me. So yeah, me and school did not go together. But I mean, whenever I was in Mexico, I didn't do good in school either. But the only reason I tried because we had to pay for school.
Yeah.
So imagine me failing school, being held back a year. Like my mom would have killed me because she had to work a lot in order to get that school paid for. So back in the day, that was my motivation. But after I moved back to the United States, my motivation was, all right, I need to go to college because I know what my life would have been if I would have stayed in Mexico. I would have dropped out like my parents did, and I would have been working in the fields or would have been working here and there, and I would have been in a different course.
Yeah, you would have been just a different person in general. Cause
Yeah, it would have been a different person in general.
A lot of what you do is determined by what you do and who you become.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And I'm grateful for the life I have.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
Yes,
I'm grateful for the opportunity to have someone to talk to through the internet, like my boy Joel here.
Thanks, man. I'm glad I have you too.
Yeah. Definitely not crying. You're crying.
Well, I'm not teary-eyed. What the hell? Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everything I do, everything I try to do, I try to do my best. Even if I'm not good at it, I always try my best. And all we could do in life is try our best, even if you're not good at it. Because if you work hard, eventually it'll pay off.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, well, thank you for joining. First episode on the podcast.
The
return of the podcast. And I'll give you some time. You could plug whatever you'd like to plug, and I'll have the links in the description.
Okay.
Just go for it. Plug your projects. Do whatever you want. This is your time.
Just follow my Twitch. That's it. I was gonna do my meme account, but I don't care. Anyway, I care about my meme account, but not enough to actually warrant some followers. But yeah, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you spending your busy schedule to talk to me and ask me questions.
All right, no problem. I literally just got out of work too, guys. So yeah, I got out of work. I showered, and we're here. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it a lot that you were able to make some time out of your busy day to join in a call and just talk, man. It's always nice talking to you.
It was nice talking to you, man. All right.
All right. All right. Peace, guys. Have a nice day. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys are excited for next week's episode because I'm going to have a very important guest for me. I'm actually going to have my girlfriend on the podcast.
Oh, that is
so
special.
Yeah, something very special. It's fitting I had you before her on the podcast.
Yeah, that's why she always says, "Oh, it feels like I'm third wheeling with you guys." Okay, I see that now.
She never means it in a bad way, though.
I know, but it's just like it's funny because
it's always funny.
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right. That being said, guys, peace. King out.
All right, see you later, guys.